Hey guys, Paul here. Welcome to Beach and Fishing, my site aimed at assisting those of you looking to undertake some fishing endeavours in whatever way, shape or form it should take. And today we're going to look at three kayak fishing reel options for beginners. So if you're looking to get out fishing in a kayak, then these fishing reel options might be helpful for you. Now fishing's one of those things, and I'll say this probably in every video that I shoot, is that it's a matter of opinion. Some people like some things, some people like others. I like the egg beater reels, which is these type here, which we'll talk about in a second. I have friends who use the bait caster ones. I actually left my bait caster reel at a friend of mine's house, so I can't show it to you today, but they like the bait caster ones. Some people like really short rods, some people like really long rods, so on and so forth. So what I've tried to do today with my three fishing reel options is just give you options for those of you who just want to go out and do some fishing. There may not necessarily be any specific need that you're after. These are just good all-round reels that you can attach to your rod and get yourself out on your kayak and fishing. So as we go through in the post, and I mentioned a second ago, a couple of the different reel options. There's your spinner reel, which is these type ones. As I've mentioned, we call them egg beaters here. I'm sure people do elsewhere, and I'll go through these in a bit more detail in a second. There's the bait caster option. There's also the big overhead boat reels, which obviously we're not talking about at the moment. And in Australia, we have like the LV or surf reel type things, which is a big round oval one, which I didn't bring my version in here to show you. But imagine like an oversized fly fishing reel, you know, the big reels they use fly fishing, like an oversized one of them. That's what our surf reels look for. So as you go through and choose yourself a surf fishing reel, there's a couple of things that you can probably look to keep in mind. The first one is the location, and that's probably only really going to affect you on a kayak when it comes to casting. Some reels are a lot better for casting long distances than others. Again, friends of mine only use the bait caster ones. They like them because they reckon they can cast a lot further with them. And they're also a bit more accurate than the egg beaters. If you're trying to, where we fish on our kayaks, we fish in areas where there's mangroves and stuff. We try and get mangrove jacks in there. I use a big stodgy bait runner reel in there because it's strong enough to hold the mangrove jack, because they're quite harsh fish when you catch them. But in general terms, a spinning reel or an egg beater reel is a good all-round option for what you're doing. But that said, with your location, if you've got areas where there's a lot of snags or something like that, then that could determine where you're casting to. If you're in an area where there's a lot of strong current, then it means you might need a larger tackle weight, like larger sinkers and the like, which means you might need a slightly bigger reel to handle the bigger line, to handle the bigger sinker and tackle and so on. So if you're in areas, as I say, where there's strong current or quite windy can affect obviously your casting, or you do need to cast quite a long way, then maybe think about a bigger reel or bait caster reels. But if you're in a stock standard lake or estuary or even inland ocean, then the reels here I think that we've covered will be quite good for you. Now, the post takes you through, the post below takes you, or if you're on YouTube, the post link below takes you through all the options that you have with a spinning reel. I'm going to run through them here for you. Now, this is a basic spinning reel. Sorry if I keep looking away from the camera down at the reel. This is one that I bought individually purely for one of my kayak rods. It has basically, I'm not really sure. Let me have a look at the post on another page. What are we talking about here? First, we're talking about composition, which is what I want to talk about. So the composition basically of it is this is 3000. I don't know if you can see that on there. It's going to be backwards because the camera goes backwards anyway. 3000 means it can hold around anywhere from 3 to 5 pound monoline, or probably around 6 to 14 pound braid. I've only got a light braid on here. I've got about I think it's only about a 4 pound braid. So basically, if it's got 3,000, some of them just put 3.0. Think of that around the 3 pound line for mono, maybe a couple more for braid. If you go too large on the line, then it's going to spool off. If you go put too much, if you're too light, then obviously it's going to snap for what the reel can handle. So I recommend around the 3,000 to 4,000 mark for a good kayak reel, because it's nice. Like this one's nice and light. It's made of aluminium. If you pay a bit more, you'll get ones that are made of carbon fiber, which are extremely light, or carbon fiber edges and so on. They're extremely light. The bail, which is the bit that turns on and off, they're normally, as in with this one, is stainless steel. And yeah, nice little spinning reel. Now, the other things to be aware of, the main issues you want with, not issues, the main things to look for a kayak reel, as I mentioned, around the 2 to 4,000 capacity for your line. Different ones will tell you how much line they can take. This one, sorry, I've got my glasses on. This one is around, I feel like I'm 100 years old trying to look at it like this. This one actually doesn't say. Yeah, 3 to 150 pound, 3 to 350 pound, 3.5 pound for mono on this one it says, which is a 3,000. It doesn't tell me. Some of them will tell you how much line you can put on. That's based on the size of the spool in there. If it tells you to put up to 15 meters or 15 foot, that's what you can put on. If you put too much, I've actually got another line here which is 4,000, which I use if we actually use this more in the estuary when we're using our soft plastic lures. There's too much line on that. I don't know if you can see that in the video. I've got braid with a mono runner attached to it. There's too much line that I get bird's nest with that. I need to reduce that. And the line is about 8 pound. It's too big and too much. I could spend hours explaining why I did it, but that's what that was. I was actually going to want to use that one for the mangrove jack, but that's another one I've got there. The other options to keep in mind with your reel is this one here says it has 5 ball bearings. You can't really see that on there, but that says 5 ball bearings, and it's backwards again. What that means is there's 4 ball bearings in here and 1 normally in the handle. Now, ball bearings, like car ball bearings in wheels, they just make it spin nice and smoothly. The rule of thumb with this generally is the more you can get, the better. 4 is good, 5 is good. This is a ratio, this one, of 5.1 to 1, which means every time I turn that, you can see that raising and falling there. Every time I turn that, it's actually spinning the bail 5 times for 1 turn. So if you see a ratio that says 5.1 to 1, it's 5.1 turns to every turn. 5.1 spins there to every turn here. Obviously, it's just bringing the line in a lot faster. So be aware of that as well. So your ball bearings, this one has 5.1 to 1, fairly stock standard, pretty middle of the road. The other thing is it's got a drag. Now the drag is on the front there. So I've got this locked up, but the looser you have that, the looser the drag. The drag's all inside here. You'll see reels that say, 3 or 4 carbon plate drags and the like. Plates are all in there, and it's what allows the line to pull out when you have a fish on to stop it snapping. If you find a reel, I'd be very surprised if you find one these days without a drag, but if you manage to find a reel without a drag, put it down. You need a drag. So the drag for this is on the front. Most egg beater reels is on the front. I've got a big bait runner reel where I've actually got a drag set on the back. It doesn't set here. So yeah, a drag. The other things that I like with this one is its reversible handle. So if that rips off, I take that off. Probably should have thought of that earlier. I can then take the handle out, put it around the other side, and it needs to line up, and screw that back on there. And that's gone from a left-handed reel to a right-handed reel. So now it's on the other side. So you'll want your reel to be double-sided. Depends whether you like to put it in left or right hand. So that's really weird for me because it's around the other way. I have to fix that, but need it to be dual set for your reel. Most of them are. And the other thing that, see that little thing there, that little black thing, that's a line holder. That's what's going on. If I take that, it all spins out. Check, it's got a line holder. Trust me, you can get them without. You've got to try and wrap it around the bail or wrap it up around here and into your line with your hooks and stuff. Pain in the backside, especially if you haven't got tackle on there, which obviously I can't have on there if I'm taking the reel off. Now the other thing to check, and this is another different reel. This is a little 2 pound little two. It doesn't say it on here, but it would be 500. Oh, that's the brand. It's a 2000. Set on the box. Now here's one I prepared earlier. If I unscrew that, take that off. See, that's all in one bit, and then that is all encased in there as well. The bits where your drag is in there. The drag is in that part. That's all fully enclosed. It's not as fully enclosed. Some of them actually have plastic tops on them that fully enclose and waterproof. This one isn't quite as much. I bought this at Sabella's in the US actually. It's a nice little reel. And it's fully enclosed there. That means it is much more versatile in different conditions than what they are if they're not fully enclosed. Again, it's pretty hard to find one that isn't fully enclosed these days, but just make sure that they're nice and enclosed. A lot of them will tell you they got waterproof insides or not. This one isn't waterproof. This one's actually only rated for fresh water. I am naughty and use it in salt water. I got this one because I've got a little light rod. This one's really light, really small. It's got really light line. That's only a 2 pound braid. I put this on it's only about a 4 foot rod. I think it's a kid's rod actually. And we use it when we actually use it to catch live little tiny whiting that we use for bait. That's what we use it for. Or we'll put bread on it and use it for little mullet. But I have actually put large little hooks on this and gone fishing for like proper fishing. It's great fun. Catching fish on light equipment's really good fun. Too small to be a middle of the road reel though. So that's what you're looking for with your reel. You need to make sure that it's got the capacity to hold the line. So anywhere in the 3 to 5,000 mark. All fully enclosed. So again, if I unscrewed that would all come off, and that's all in one piece. Easy to clean because you can pull that off and just rinse it all out. Nice and light. This is aluminium and stainless steel, so it's not going to rust. Interchangeable handle. Enough ball bearings to keep it smooth. Stainless steel bail. Clips on and off easily. Line holder and drag. Okay, so that's basically what you're looking for. A nice, simple, easy, simple of the road, middle of the road reel. Let's go into the post and I'll show you the 3 that I've come up with. So everything we're talking about there is that we've talked about is covered there. I've gone a bit more into, if you're looking at holes and if you've got mangroves, you might require accuracy and the like. Line capacity, it's got a little table there. The handle, I didn't mention the handle. This one's a plastic type handle. It's a bit hard. Weight, make sure it's light, make sure it has anti-reverse switch. Let's just turn the camera back on. Anti-reverse switch. This one doesn't have one. So this goes back and that doesn't, I can't roll that one back. This one has an anti-reverse switch. So click that. That one won't roll back. Click it that way. I can roll it forward and back. That's another thing that some people like, some people didn't. Actually, I don't like them, so I wasn't concerned that this has it. I always had mine on not lock back. I don't like turning mine back. But some people do. If you're in a kayak and you're drifting, you might want to just slowly release line out. Try it that way. People do that, but that's your anti-reverse switch down there. If you like to be able to turn your reel both ways, make sure you got one of them as well. Okay, so there's the one I've talked about. So bearings 5+1 ratio. Even though I said to you couldn't see it, that's where the bearing thing was on the reel. That's what I tried to show you before. So it's actually 6, not 5. 5.1.1 ratio, 3000. anti-reverse switch. I've said yes there, and it doesn't. I have told a fib. I'll have to change the post. So, but it doesn't have one. Lightweight, available at discounted price at the time. It was something that's light, it was easy to use, and I really, really like that reel. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone through and found 3 that sort of fit in with this middle of the range that I'm talking about. First one is Sugilang, 6.2 to 1 ratio. It comes in 12 to 4,000. It's got 1,000 to 4,000, which is 1,000 a little low. Go to the 3 to 4,000 if you can. 12.1 bearings, 12 plus 1 bearings, so that's great amount of bearings. 5.2 to 1, which is good. Aluminium carbon, drag on front, up to 42 k's or 19 kilos. So it'll handle a 19 kilo fish pulling on it on the drag. Trust me, if you're catching a fish that's larger than that on a kayak, you've got more problems than what your drag's doing. Anti-reverse switch, line holder, and interchangeable wider. Lightweight, fully sealed components and bearings, and deep spool for longer line capacity. So you remember I said before, I'll tell you how much line a lot of them can handle. Good one for a good price. So you can see they're $27.99 at the moment. That's US. Very good price, strong enough, good line strength, 4 to 8 pound. High speed rate ratio, and you can use them both fresh and salt water. So that's a good one for a beginner. Good reel for good price. The reviews on that are pretty good too. Pisco Carbon X spinning reel. This one's up a little bit more, 70 bucks. This one's very light, only 5.7 ounce because it's got that carbon build that I was talking about before. Low maintenance, handles most tackle, and it's because even though it's a bit lighter, it will handle slightly bigger tackle because it's a slightly stronger reel. Again, 1,000 to 4,000 your options. Go to 3 to 4,000, 10 plus 1 bearings, 5.2.1, 6.2.1 on the 2,000 to 4,000 models where you would be wanting to go. Aluminium with the carbon insert, up to 33, 15 kilo drag. Reverse switch only on the 2 to 4,000 models, which, as I keep saying, if you're on the 1,000 model, you probably don't want to worry about that anyway. Super lightweight, fully sealed components, and oversized drag for the size of the reel. So for the size of the reel, that's a large drag. So you can have fun with a smaller reel and catch some bigger fish with that one. And as I mentioned, I picked this one because it's very light in weight. So it's great if you're on a kayak. It's light. If you ever take a heavy reel on a kayak, trust me, you'll regret it. It's too hard to move around in a little bit of real estate you have. And can handle larger species. So, yep, that's my second option. Good one there. Third option, Daiwa Tatula LT spinning reel. I'm wondering how I was going to say that. 175 bucks there. A little more expensive, but it's one that should last a long time till you become an expert. It's a well-known brand. It's a thin synthetic body, this one, fully encased, lightweight design, and it can handle all the bigger catches as well. So 2 to 4,000, again, stick the 3 to 4,000 mark. 7 to 1. It's got ball bearings in the front, ball bearings in the handle, ball bearings in the front there, which is why it's talking all that. 6.2 to 1 ratio, lightweight synthetic and aluminium, up to 22 pounds on the spool, all the stuff, fully sealed, extremely lightweight and highly durable. So as I say, I've used a number of Daiwa reels in my time. None of the ones I've got here are Daiwa. I've got Shimano, which are a good brand as well. But this one, for a beginner, if you want a reel that you can use on a kayak or in a boat or in an estuary, this is the one to choose. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but based on what I've read in the reviews on Amazon and my experience with these types of reel with Daiwa, you could do a lot worse to get this one. Really, I think, worth the extra there. Okay, that's my 3 recommended reels for beginners in a kayak. As number 3 option there, if you're an expert in a kayak, you could do a lot worse than that one as well. Hope that was helpful, guys. If you're watching this within YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel below. That way I can keep you up to date with everything that's going on in the world of fishing, reels, rods, how to do this, how to do that. And yeah, anything you need to know, I can keep you updated if you subscribe below. If you're watching this within the post, you need any help finding yourself a reel for a particular option or matching it to a rod or anything to do with kayak fishing, any feedback on the reels that if you've purchased any of these reels, any suggestions for other good reels for beginners in a kayak, anything to do with that, please comment below. We'd love to help you out. Okay, guys, thanks for that. Hope you have a great time fishing, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.